Ladies and gentlemen, and street photographers alike, the day is here. The Ricoh GR III is now fully official. I can't believe that it's finally the day. So it was just announced that the Ricoh GR III is coming out and will be shipping next month in March, so basically just a couple of weeks from now. It's going to be this $900 camera. So this puts it in an interesting position that we'll kind of talk about in a second, but let's talk about kind of the upgrades, what you're going to expect from this bad boy right here, and maybe if it's worth saving the $400 or $500 over the current GR II that is obviously a bit older and a little outdated at this point. Let's discuss. So we heard a lot of things about the GR3 over the past couple months. If it was really even going to come out. There were some leak specs that indicated that the sensor might not improve much, the AF speed might not improve, you're going to lose the flash, which some of the street photographers enjoyed using, and that it might not have ND filters, but all that is finally cleared up. We do have a new sensor in this camera right here. Finally, it's new. The GR II, basically used the same one, and it was 16 megapixels. So now we get a bump up to 24. So that will help in your crop modes if you use them to crop, if you're afraid to kind of get a little closer, but we know that's more convenient. They also upgraded the autofocusing system, and what they did is they added phase detection in there as well with the contrast, so you're going to get more accurate and faster autofocusing, and that was a lot of the complaints if you used autofocus like myself with the GR2. It was decent enough, but it wasn't anywhere good, especially compared to the Fuji X100 line, which kind of rivals this GR ship. But Fuji's kind of been running away with it because, Ricoh, Pentax has been on the side with this thing, but I think there's a competitor now. But with that higher price point, it's interesting. Just a quick specs, you're getting the 24 megapixels, a new 3-inch touchscreen, which is new. It's going to be full capacity. You're going to be able to go through everything. It's going to have a sleeker body design. It's still going to have that rubberized texture, which is very, very comfortable in their hands. And even with someone with big hands, the camera, the GR2, felt very ergonomic to me. Now, the big disappointment for some of you guys and girls out there will that it will not have a flash in it. That's how it's going to get smaller, but that's just how it is. But on the better news, you still do have your 2 ND stop filter, your neutral density filter built into the camera. So you didn't lose that like it was mentioned that it was going to. So that is a absolute blessing to at least still have that. Then 2 current things that no one really thought would make the camera, and it finally did, is that there is more of a 3-axis in-body stabilization in there that should protect up to about 4 stops that they claim. The other thing, and I never had a problem with this, but I saw a lot of people did, is the dust going into the sensor and needing to get it cleaned out with their GR and your GR2. They now have a built-in dust reduction system for your sensor, so that should not be an issue, and that should alleviate any of the dust issues and everything. And thanks for listening for that. The lens on is essentially near the same, but you can focus a little bit closer. It does do video, but if you're buying this camera, you're not really running this for video. It doesn't do 4K, 1080p, 60 frames a second. But yet again, if you're buying this camera, you're not buying it for video. So once again, this packed in a lot of the complaints that have been mentioned at least over the past 4 or 5, if not 6 years from the GR and the GR2. So once again, this is shipping in about a month. It's $900, $89.95 or whatever it's going to be. But the interesting thing is they're actually going to have a wide angle adapter for this called the GW4, and it'd be about $250 for that. So using the current lens on there, you're going to screw it on there, kind of like how the X100 stuff works. And you could go from there. So this is more of a premium higher end model they're setting out now. It's $900. It does make it a little bit more tough now. Do you go with something like this compared to like the Fuji X100F or T for that matter? You went with the GR2 because it offered a lot and for a cheaper price point, because really right now the GR2 is roughly about $500. You could find it 16 megapixels. That's slower AF, but it is mentioned that the battery life isn't as good on the new 3 compared to the 2, but I can't verify that until I see that myself. And that's really about it. So I think if you have the 2 and you want something improved, myself, I would probably upgrade to the 3 alone for the newer stuff in it, the faster autofocusing speed, and you'll probably get a better camera out of it. But if you're more of a manual focus shooter, I don't think it's going to be a huge step unless you want the more megapixels to get more resolution. I've used basically all of the X100 line cameras for Fuji as well, and I owned the Ricoh GR II for about a year, if not almost a year and a half before I got rid of that, before I went more in a different route. But the GR3 is very interesting. A little disappointed that the price is $900. I was hoping it was going to be around the $700 and $750. But that there, with this and the wide angle adapter, you're over $1,000. So what are your thoughts down below? But yet again, rejoice, the GR3 is here. I'm definitely going to do my best to pick one up. And if I really like it, then who knows, I might be back into the GR system. But what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you. The GR3 is finally here. We're still waiting on one more street photography popular camera, the Fuji X Pro 3, but we've got the GR3 and it answered a lot of our concerns.